Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Just Us Reviews, where we like to go through our favorite superhero shows and give you the nit and the grit of what's going down. So, let's get it started. We come back with The Flash this week, and some mixed reviews on that one, so let's kick right into it. What you think about it?
So, remember last week I thought Flash was pretty good.
Okay.
It faltered for me. One of the main things that really irked me this season is it looks like now they are setting up another main storyline that's so fucking unnecessary when we have the Crisis stuff going on and the other stuff with Mohinder.
And not to mention that, so right now we have that. We also have the mission to find Dibney's wife. And now Dibney's embarking on this whole find the assassins thing. Now, what does that correlate to in the comic books?
So, they didn't outright say it, but looking at some of the clues that they set up, I think they're doing Spiral. In the comic book, Spiral is this spy organization that Dick Grayson, aka Nightwing, joins up with for a period of time. Huntress is also in it too. But we all know it's not going to be anything like the comics. Flash is going to goof it up like they always do.
So that's funny that you say that, because when I heard the descriptors of what was going on, and they were talking about a secret organization that's manipulating metahumans, I immediately was thinking they bet not be doing ASA and trying to cross over Black Lightning, because if that's the case, I'm telling them shut it down quickly.
I was thinking something more lines of Cadmus or something like that, but you know they've been lazy across the board. But speaking of lazy, can we honestly just sit down and agree? Like, these CW shows should just be like 30 minutes long. Because all this filler with Caitlyn, like this whole Caitlyn bullshit is garbage.
I'm going to say this. I think we can all agree the Caitlyn shit is fucking it over big time.
It's padding because originally, when you think about the trajectory of this character and how this character wants a life of her own.
She's already had one.
She already had one. Exactly. Why are we retreading this ground?
And now we have to pretend like she wasn't this badass who's out in the streets. Now she's this 4-year-old who's trying to learn the color.
That's what really irked me. They kind of treated her like a child this week, and it was like...
She acted like a child.
Yes. And that's what irked me, because 2 seasons ago, you were literally slinging beer in a bar. And weren't you weren't you killing people?
Yes, she was. And on top of that, as a matter of fact, people actually prefer Killer Frost to Caitlyn. And now this whole thing that we have to hold her hand as she experiences life for the first time.
Yeah, like human life. Like, don't sit here and pretend like you don't understand how the humans work because you've never been able to come. This whole, trying to do the Incredible Hulk storyline, but very clumsily, it's stupid. They need to stop it.
But speaking of something that was actually worthwhile, so Barry actually goes into the future to figure out what's happening and if he can actually believe the monitor. And if he believes that he actually has to die to figure this stuff out. He tries to go into the Speed Force and to go in time and to see what happens in the future, but the future's like, no, get your ass back. You ain't supposed to see none of this. So after getting messed up by the Speed Force, he goes talk to Jay Garrett of Earth 3, and Jay Garrett is like, okay, I'm going to send your mind there so you can kind of tell us what's going on. Now, how did you feel about that?
Okay, so I was kind of irked that, this was the biggest issue with that to me. I had a minor issue, which was, once again, Barry's answer to solving all problems is fucking with time.
Yep.
So and then he gets to Earth 3 to talk to Jay Garrick, and you think Jay Garrick is gonna call him on it because he's like, I told you to leave the fucking time stream alone. But then he's like, no, I would have done that too. You did a good job. Where it falls apart for me is after that he's like, for a fucking year now, I've been observing bullshit with antimatter and what's going on with
the
what the fuck?
You didn't tell nobody?
Exactly! Like, you supposed to be a superhero. I realize you probably can't, like, be the Flash anymore, but, like, you literally... All you had to do was jump to another universe. Yo, I've been tracking some shit. It's looking real fucked up. I'm gonna stay on top of it, but I need you to know this because I don't know when the fuck shit's gonna blow. Like, the world could have blew up, and it could have been your fault because no one would have known because you didn't tell anybody.
So that sucks, but here's what my issue with that was. So after the fact and Barry sees what's happening, then he's like, well, what does it even matter now? Fuck it. And I'm like, first of all, now Iris has to fluff you because you can't perform.
Pull out the glove to hold his penis.
And
hold up, let me.
And the thing is, like, Iris wasn't even a problem with that. It was Barry, and the reason it was a problem, it was so counterintuitive to last week when everybody was like, this black guy's gone, let's kill him. And he's like, no, we fight for life. And he's like, well, what does it matter? Fuck it, I'll just throw my life away.
Well, this is why I love that scene, because this is the first time I think Barry has run into a situation where he realizes this superhero shit is life and death. Because ever since the Flashes began, they've been candying his ass that, hey, I'm so fast, I can get out of any situation, and it doesn't matter, I'm that fast. And now he has a problem that he know he can't run away from. That's why that conversation between him and Joe's like, look, we can go anytime, but that's what we signed up for. Mm-hmm. This symbol means that I get up every morning and do my job no matter what the consequences is. And now, like, Barry needed this hard smack in the face because every test that he's been faced with is like, oh, I'm going to get out of it eventually because I'm Barry. Now that he has to face the fact that he may actually die, now he has to deal with that shit.
So here's the thing. Yes, that's a possibility with every mission that he goes on. The problem is the show doesn't treat every mission like that because it's a fucking cartoon.
Exactly.
The thing is, though, yeah, Joe gave him that speech, but the thing is, I feel like a lot of times, like you say, they candy his ass even when they're trying to teach him a lesson. Like, he didn't get smacked in the face by reality from one of his friends. He got smacked in the face by reality by the situation. No one is going up in his face and being like, man up, do some push-ups. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah. He's not getting the tough love that I think he needs sometimes.
So later in the series, Jay Garrett actually is able to send Barry's mind into the future to find out what happened. They sent his consciousness through the time stream, and he saw billions of people die across billions of instances. So pretty much like Doctor Strange did in the Avengers. And he saw every instance in which the world dies except for one. And he comes back and he tells Iris, he's like, I need to get home for Iris because I need somebody to hold my penis. So as soon as he gets back... As soon as he gets back home, he's on the couch, and Iris is like, what happened? He's like, I saw everything die. And she's like, Barry, no. We can work together to stop this. It's like, bitch, you wrote a newspaper.
I mean, well, what do you expect? She's been trained since season 1 to, no matter what, even if, logic dictates Barry should lose, that no, if we keep talking up to him, he'll just push a little harder and figure it out. And now, I mean, it's so ironic and funny because, like, a couple of seasons ago, Iris was waving the death flag, and it was a countdown to her life.
And she was like, I guess life is meaningless.
Exactly.
But let's switch gears for a second. So the Barry stuff and all that happens out the window, but we run into the meta of the episode, which is this young lady who can control ultraviolet light. How'd you feel about that?
Okay, so you talking about the girl or her cousin?
Her cousin was badass. Her cousin
Discount Electra?
Discount Electra
Because let's be real, but damn, she was fine. The outfit was hidden.
So, but here's the deal. So there's this man who controls ultraviolet rays. And every ray upon the spectrum, radio waves to gamma rays. Her cousin can do the same thing. Her cousin ends up blackmailing her and killing a person with her powers, which doesn't make sense because her cousin wears a red mask, is in tight leather, And just only thing that discerns them is a tattoo. So I was like, how did anybody confuse those
So
two?
basically, they was like that Latino with the tattoo, and they just put it on whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we get that. Which is funny that I bring that up because something happens. A subject is brought up in this episode that I'm like. Oh, stop it, Flash. You can't do what Black Lightning does. You can't be socially relevant. Like, so
you
now,
talking about Cecile?
yeah, so now Cecile wants to be a public defender for metahumans. And I'm like...
And that's why I was getting why I was thinking they trying to do the Black Lightning crossover, because I was like, nope, shut it down.
Like y'all not woke. Sit down and shut up.
So, here's the thing. I'm going to defend that a little bit, because if you want my honest opinion, to me, it was the better storyline.
It kind of was.
Yeah.
It was the better. It was a better storyline. We got to see and I'm gonna tell you why. Because they wanted to throw the B plot of let's get Caitlyn alive, and we're gonna go to this art museum shit. And then they immediately saw, okay, they're not getting it. Move to the Cecile shit. And we didn't come back to Caitlyn until like near the end of the episode where she put them whack ass drawings.
Because there was no story, and can I be honest with you? Like, she learned the wrong. Caitlyn learned the wrong shit. What she should have learned. So, okay, from jump, the art scene went totally different, because what she should have learned is, if you're an asshole to people, you might get your ass beat in public, or you might get embarrassed in public, or you might get cursed out. I just thought it was so stupid that Cisco's girlfriend, who is an artist,
Got so butthurt
over one girl's opinion, and it's like, you're experienced in this. You should have had criticism of your shit a long time ago.
But you're upset that you're catching flack from a girl called Killer Frost.
But see, here's the thing. That was Cisco's people, and he should have known not to bring her to that if she was gonna act a fool like that.
Exactly, and that's another thing too. Like, I think it's funny that she didn't get mad at Cisco. She just got sad and whimpered in the corner. Like anyone else would have been like, yo, you bringing this bitch around here, she talking trash about these people. Like, what the fuck? You can't do that. Don't bring folks up in here like that. Like,
we want to sit here and pretend like Killer Frost doesn't have social etiquette, but whatever, throw that out the window. But hold up, one thing I want to jump to before we close this out is that Barry shows up at the end to fight the meta, because otherwise they would have been ended in 10 minutes. So he shows up to fight the girl, and then they literally say her ultra violet powers are so fast that it's 80 times Barry's top speed. Yet we see Barry come in and save Cecile from one of these blasts. How?
well, I thought that was bullshit when they said it, because I'm like, so her ultraviolet rays can go in time? Because Barry can travel through time, and I'm sure that's faster than light. So how the fuck are her ultraviolet rays faster than his top speed?
It's not even just that. And then he ran right in front of her while she buffed her low into his head.
then turns around and runs away and catches him in the back of the head.
And it's like, come on, dude, you could have did that. There was no way you could have stopped her that didn't involve you doing that cliched ass, I'm gonna fight the beam.
But like I said from the get-go, the Flash is literally limping his way towards Crisis. So honestly, most of the storylines we're going to get this season are going to be a shit ton of padding that have absolutely nothing to do with anything. Why does any of this matter when the universe is about to literally end?
Let me say one last thing about this episode, and this, to me, is the cherry on the fuck you cake, so to speak. The one thing that they do in this episode that lets you know that for no matter how much they try to improve the Flash, even as the visuals get slowly better, or even if someone else comes on and says, yo, maybe we need to change this plot line because this is kind of dumb, they always go back to, let's lie to our friends and keep shit from them.
Oh,
like,
God.
Barry, and the funny part is, that was the whole premise of the episode, of the Barry plot line. Barry and Iris are like, we're gonna do some bullshit that we're not gonna tell the rest of the team about, even though this is some bullshit that affects everybody.
And
And then by the end of the episode, because they haven't told anybody that they did this shit, by the end of the episode, then the two of them are like, so now we need to discuss with the team how we're going to prepare for a future without the Flash.
So, that wraps up the Flash, honestly, it kind of, I thought the first episode was terrible in the first place, but this wasn't that much better. But they did have a couple of good points. But we said our piece, let's skip to something else.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, the Super Friends.
On to the next show. All right, people, Black Lightning has been on and popping. Stuff is going down in Freeland. We back on episode 2. So let's fill the room out and see how we like this episode. Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna generalize the whole thing and then we can get into it. Putting aside what I think about the tactics of certain people in the ASA, I'm just gonna say it this week. Everybody was frustrating and annoying, but also understandable. Except for Anissa, who was just frustrating and annoying without any understanding, period.
Okay, so hold up. Here's my deal. I loved Anissa in this episode. I thought she was amazing.
I hated
Hold on, let me explain why. So Anissa was like, look, I'm trying my best to save everyone. Everybody is giving me shit. I got people who guarantee me things who are trying to back out. I got people who I'm trying to save, questioning everything I do. I'm fighting a one-man army against the ASA and the Markovians and against public opinion.
I have a rebuttal against
Go
that.
for it.
The only reason these people started backing out is because she kept pushing the limits of the deals that she was making with people. Had she not done that, then she wouldn't have had problems.
Well, here's the
and
deal.
The only reason that they came to quote-unquote a solution with the party or whoever they're the party, right?
Yeah.
The only reason they came to a solution was because they found a meta that they could use. Had that meta not even been a thing, there still would have been a problem. And I feel that's lazy writing when you just are like, oh, well, we need to justify why Anissa is right, even though she is clearly being the villain in this situation.
But here's my deal. Could she possibly leave those kids behind? Now, mind you, her whole thing was, I can't leave them in those cages because I know firsthand what the ASA is doing. I got to get them out of Freeland.
That's fine and understanding, but I look at it like this too, because you're going to the reason I didn't like the way she was acting is because it was so extreme to the point where I honestly assumed that in between the last episode where she got knocked out and this episode, I honestly assumed there was a villain meta at work.
So here's
because it was just so out there.
But if you look at everything that they've gone through, if you look at the fact that Jennifer's out doing God knows what, and while she's leading this crusade, her parents are literally locked up. Let's be real. They're locked up. So she's literally on her own except with Gamby, who's out doing whatever he needs to do because he's on his own solo mission for the whole group collective. I gotta sit here and convince people who are afraid to be saved. At the same time, I got the party out there who we saved their asses. So they kind of owe us, and now they want to back out because the block is hot.
But so here's my thing. You can't pull people into a war and then get mad when they don't want to do things the way you want them to do.
It's about compromise.
And another thing,
she wasn't willing to do that. Not only was she not willing to do that, she was willing to go over the boundaries as far as what she promised.
And they literally said, after all of this, we'll never trust you again. So you ruined a huge asset that you had in your quote-unquote war.
Because let's be real, she's going to have to pull some more children out of those cages.
Exactly.
And now she doesn't have the party anymore.
And I'll say this, because the reason it really irked me, one of the two reasons it really irked me is I equate it to you can't ask someone to board up in their house and then just because you gave them some money, fuck up their house. And that's what she was doing. She was fucking up their house.
So going in this whole Anissa thing, because we're gonna sit here and disagree on this one, but let's go to the fight choreography, because I believe
it was fucking great.
it was amazing.
And I'll say this, and maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. The fight choreography was uncharacteristically above par on all the shows.
Exactly, like when it came to Anissa and she was when she was fighting the Markovians, I was like, oh my god, I don't know who this coordinator is, but they need to keep him on payroll.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move
went to all the shows because like.
But let's move on a bit ahead and let's talk about some stuff that happened. How do you guys feel about Lynn and Jefferson's relationship?
Okay, so Lynn was dumb.
Thank you.
And Jefferson was dumb.
Okay.
And it's frustrating to agree with both of them, but disagree with them because, they both should fucking know better. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm on the same point. I think, and I said this before, people kept giving me flack. Lynn is too naive to not understand what the fuck is going on.
So okay. So after initially watching that episode, I was real pissed because I was like, Lynn is really fucking up here. And then I had the benefit of watching the episode and then letting it marinate. This episode and that scene with them is a prime example of why Black Lightning stands above the other CW shows. Lynn and Jefferson and their discussion and their argument, I got so much beats from this. First of all, I understood this is fundamentally why they originally got a divorce. No matter how much they love each other, no matter how much they would do for each other, they have ideologies that will never ever be able to work together long term. They can go away and come back, but as soon as those ideologies are put to play, there's always gonna be friction. This is shit that's been building up since season 1, but the cornerstones were built in season 1, but season 2 is when they started actually building that house.
And I'm gonna say this, and it revolves around the main issue, which was, you said that Lynn was naive. I have to push back on that. I don't think she's naive. I think she's trying to play the hand that she's dealt with in the most delicate and precise fashion as possible.
I'm gonna push back on that.
Here's my deal. Here's the deal. I get her whole focus is saving these kids, but she has to know the true agenda of the ASA at this point.
I'm gonna push back on you and you. I don't think it's either of those fully. What I honestly think is Lynn is becoming the monster that she says that she's fighting. I think that's definitely.
Explain it because that's interesting.
I thought it was a weird, and I'm coming at this from a totally different character in the show. I thought it was so weird how much she pushed. I'm trying to save the kids. I'm trying to save these children.
Oh, and then when Jefferson was doing that thing?
Well, no, not just that. And then you have this girl who the episode is named after.
Yeah.
And you see what her metahuman powers are doing to her. She tells you, it fucking hurts when I use my powers. My hair is falling out. My fingernails are falling out. I think I'm going to die. And what does she do?
She pushes
her. Does exactly.
So I'm gonna say this. Yes, it is parallel to what Odell did to Windfall in season 2. But you have to understand the situation. She has to do that because right now they don't have a choice.
I understand that, but it's a difference between having to do that because you don't have a choice and doing that because even though you don't have a choice, it's what you always really wanted to do.
Because
you've always been built to do.
Because in that scene in particular, while she's pushing her to use her powers, even Jefferson can see that the girl is discomfort.
Exactly.
Fair enough, but at the same time, if she didn't do that, then they wouldn't have the freedoms that they have now.
But those
you already see that they watching them and tracking them, even when they not watching them and tracking them, and that's why she got pissed off at him at the end of the episode. Because he just going around, I'm gonna fuck up the electricity and security so that motherfuckers can't hear us when we talking, and it's like they know that you doing that.
Hold up, like what? That gets us to an interesting point. You talk about freedoms and stuff. Let's get to Freeland itself, and by the fact that they don't have freedom oppressed. They don't have the freedom to actually live like they want to live anymore. And pretty much because of the idea of fear of the Markovians, that all these people have lost their rights and ability to live as humans. Mm-hmm. Like, let's speak on that one for a second.
I think that's interesting in and of itself because, one, we starting to see that Braxton folding. He not liking that shit.
Well, I mean, with the whole Khalil situation, because... here's my thing. After this situation with Khalil, because they sent Khalil to go kill his mom by implanting him with a brain chip. And the fact that Khalil killed his mom, after this, there should be nothing that saves him. Because if he goes against Jennifer and he snaps back to himself, I'm going to call bullshit.
So, but see, that's what they're gonna do because he have that implant.
Braxton literally said, "What if this don't work? Sending him to kill his mom could be the thing that snaps it out and make it work." They put that Chekhov gun in there so that later in the season, when it happens, when he fights Jen, it's going to happen, and he's going to be like, I told you. But let's be honest, like, the Braxton character is frustrating to me, too, because it's like, first of all, and I'm sorry that we jumped. First of all, you basically called...
You called Jefferson the N-word.
Exactly.
Let me set it up right quick. So, the Braxton character this is the military dude who can copy people's power. We just call him Braxton because he looks like Braxton.
That is Braxton.
Whatever. So he goes to Lynn and Jefferson and is like, hey, look, I'm gonna need you guys to get in line because, we need y'all to act right. And he looks over Jefferson, especially you, Meta. And we knew from a subtext he was calling him the N-word.
Which was funny because it was like, you got powers.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. I'm like, first of all, you have powers, A. B, those powers don't work unless there's another meta around you, so you're doubly useless. And C, you have the equivalency of A. like you're the worst.
Well, hold up. But speaking of freedoms, and this is my biggest issue with Henderson. And at this point, it came to head with this episode.
Here's another frustrating.
Oh my God! Like this episode, I'm done with Henderson because
I gotta put back on Henderson.
Let me explain my point right quick. So Henderson was like, when he was talking with Gamby, he was like, "This is my job. I put on this badge, to go to work and make sure I do my job." Your job, what you swore an oath to, will protect the people of Freeland. You swore an oath to that as a police officer. And you are allowing the ASA to come in. Like, when they walked into that building and they pulled one of his officers, that should have been all hands on deck. We are brawling right now. Because ain't no way in hell you coming in my house and pulling one of my people. And then he gonna go to them after the fact to lodge a complaint. It's way too late.
Exactly.
So here's my thing about that, and I'm not necessarily defending Henderson, but that's literally the commentary on this country. And think about that. What can he? I mean, they got guns, but what can he really do against society? Not only in the show but in real life has built up that the government is the end all be all. They trump police, and that's instilled in them. So he can get mad all he want, but if all it answers in is repeated ass whoopings from the military, what good is it?
So here's my thing about that though. So, yeah, you right. He can get mad all he want and whatever, but then Gambi comes in and is like, hey, I need to do this. We can fuck them over. You don't like them anyway. And like, he's like,
No.
I put on a badge and blah. I'm like, dude.
But the thing about that is, Henderson is on the front line, so to speak, in that situation. He has more to lose than Gambi. I mean, Gambi lives in Freeland, but Gambi don't even really live in Freeland.
Well, here's my question. You say he has more to lose. What does he have more to lose than the actual people of Freeland who has to go through this shit?
He's just like them in that situation. He can't do anything.
And here's my thing. I'm cool with the fact that he's handicapped by the fact that the military is taking over. But at the very least, take an ass whooping for your people. I would have threw one punch at Braxton and be like, break it off.
But how many times can you take, how many times are we asking other people to take ass whoopings for ourselves?
If you're my boss and I will literally fight and die for you as a police officer, if somebody comes to snatch me off the streets, I want you to at least fight for me.
Okay, that's funny that you say that. Because would she fight and die for him? Because that motherfucker got his ass whooped the last episode and nobody helped him.
That's true.
Nobody.
That's true. You did get that work.
I can understand if like you came in there and was like, get off my captain, and they slapped you. Then I would be like, yeah, I'm riding for, what was her name? I'm riding for Hunter or whatever. Give me my cop back. Yeah, I can see that. But then he already got his ass beat one time.
3-on-1.
3-on-1. And they had machine guns, and then nobody do anything.
So hold on.
How many times can a person be asked to take an ass whooping for people who won't even, one, jump in and help you, or two, take that ass whooping themselves?
So hold on, now this is getting spirited, so we gonna shift over to a new section right quick. My boy, Tattoo Man, aka showing up, hold on, wait a second, showing up in the 1999 Oscar
I think he ditched them velour.
He was like, man, I feel like Puffy. And he's like, he went to a J. Cruz ad and was like, I need to dress appropriately.
It's funny because I don't know where they're going with this character, but I'm liking the ride.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say one thing though, because it's a little bit of a criticism. You still on this drug dealing shit? Like seriously? Do you not? Are you not paying attention to what's going on in everybody's lives right now?
There are bigger things at play, and he's still trying to slang coke. But this is what, I'm gonna push back right quick. I respect that because he knows one thing. No matter what time it is, the game don't change because there's always money to be had. He was like, "Look, people, we are in a bad time, but people still need to get their fixes."
He's talking about selling to soldiers, and I'm like,
and think about and think about this. Outside of like no press and shit, like the people who already were downtrodden in Freeland, nothing changes for them.
So
even
they really
with
go
exactly
back.
like none of this shit changes. It's just another day. Like there's more police around. They just wear different colors and they call themselves the ASA now.
So before we sign off, I want to touch on one more person, and that's Jennifer. Now, in this episode, we saw Jennifer reach her breaking point. Because normally she's the peacekeeper. She's the one, like, they call her the Princess of Freeland and all that stuff. But at this point, she was like, enough, I can't take this shit no more.
now I want to say something. It was there. So earlier I said everybody was frustrating. She and to an extent Lala were the only ones where I was like, yeah.
I'm gonna say something on that too.
Well, go ahead.
No. Well, the only thing I was gonna say is it was also in her last scene where I noticed that like they really love their fight choreographer, or he loved them.
The only reason why, even though the Anissa stuff is irking me right now, and the Jefferson and Lynn stuff is irking me right now, we're about to see because one of the things that was really getting to me is people keep asking where Black Lightning and Thunder are. And you know, Anissa's running around being Blackbird, but is there really a reason why you're not doing that as Thunder instead of Blackbird? I think Jennifer is going to rise up, costume and all, and say, no, you should be doing it this way. She's going to take matters into her own hands, and she's going to be the face and the symbol and the forefront of just fighting the ASA just straight up.
Now, we all see what's coming ahead. We see that the ASA is trying to mass power, and we see that Maccabees are coming to grab that power and take it. And they honestly don't care about the people in the crossfire.
Exactly.
All it is acquisition of power. And that's what I love about this, is that there's so many directions that the fight is coming from. Especially, I got to give a shout out to my boy Ethan Hunt, a.k.a. Gamby, who has been doing his work on the ground solo dolo without any contact. Because as an old white man going through a mostly black neighborhood, it's kind of weird that nobody's pointed you out. So, you know, like Black Lightning is very complex. You know, there's a lot of different angles that you can take this from. But all in all, it's been so far a good season.
Yeah,
but
now I will say this. Even though I was frustrated with most of the characters, this was still a really good episode because, like, there's a lot to talk about, even though on the surface you would think there isn't.
But we're about to switch it over to a less impressive TV show. So let's get it. Alright, it's time to get down to that nitty and that gritty. We about to hit up that Emerald Archer. Now, last time we left, Oliver is dealing with the fact that he's going to die in Final Crisis. And about time, because this show needs to die along with him. But let's get to this episode in general, this premiere. Who wants to pick it from the top?
I'll go.
Go for it.
So, Arrow has this thing where, except for last season, the season premieres are always really good, and then later they let you down.
Mm-hmm.
But last season they broke the mold, and they were like, what if we're just garbage the whole way through? This was an okay premiere for me.
First of all, let me drop in for a second. Fight choreography was amazing.
Yes.
People were beating ass and throwing the names out the window. It was that beautiful. I remember one guy, he jumped at Oliver, he caught a quick arrow to the chest, got sent straight to hell.
His fight with Tommy. His fight with Tommy in Merlin's office was top notch in my opinion.
But hold on, before we even get there, let me break it down for him. So, Oliver wakes up on Earth 2. It's a whole different realm. He's rescued from the island, but everything is completely different. In this one, Moira's still alive. She's married to Malcolm. Tommy's still alive. Thea's dead, but that's probably because the actors don't want to come back to the show. Let's be real. And now there's this Dark Archer running around, and Oliver's trying to stop him. Even though the Monitor came to him and says, look, don't be messing around these universes. You don't know what you're going to kick up. So, we get to Oliver. He gets home, and we find out that Thea's dead. And we later find out that Tommy is the Black Archer, and that he's putting together the same plan from season 1. He wants to destroy the Glades. Now, let me call bullshit on this. So, your rich sister has trouble dealing with loss and becomes a junkie, and it's the poor people's fault?
Yeah,
so
that's how they do. That's how, especially rich, entitled people do. They blame poverty instead of themselves because they have money. Nothing should go wrong. But if shit goes wrong, it's definitely not our fault. It's everybody else's fault.
See, I was down with Tommy until he made that quick revelation. Every time I close my eyes, I steal Thea. That was your half sister. Let's be really real for real right there. That's barely related, all right? In Alabama, y'all can get married.
So I'll say this. Despite that, if you want my honest opinion, Tommy saves this episode.
He does. And let me throw another point out there. So technically in this field, Oliver should have like more experience, right? Way more experience. He should have all this combat experience from fighting the League and everybody. Why is everybody on par with him when it comes to fighting?
That's a good question. I think that's shit that they want you to throw away because they're just trying to make an episode. But you're right. I think it's really inexplicable. So, okay, let me get down to what is really wrong with this episode as a whole.
Okay.
There's so many gaps in logic throughout the entire episode that it gets to the point where it's like, okay, I can't watch this episode without asking questions.
So
let me get to the.
Here's the thing about that. I see what they're doing, and it's something that's been done on a lot of shows where they're on their last season and they're like, who gives a shit now? Because the nature of the show because the nature of the season is we're just hopping from universe to universe, it doesn't really fucking matter what. Like, these gaps in logic, who cares? We're not going to be here for long.
So basically what he's saying is bad story writing. But the fight between Oliver and the Dark Archer, who turned out to be Tommy, it was an amazing fight. But the fact that it was that close made no sense whatsoever. Yeah. Especially since Oliver is fucking seasoned.
The only explanation I can give you is Oliver did that on purpose. Even Oliver getting captured, Oliver lowered himself on purpose just so he can get the Dwarf Star bullshit. But that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, him getting captured doesn't make sense because Renee and Dinah did it because they don't have that training in that universe. Which, by the way, different universe, Renee is still a snitch. Some shit never changes. But
a billion different time streams, he's still gonna be telling on somebody. But hold up, let me. And another point I want to hop to too. So in this universe, mind you, Black Canary just became good like a season ago, right? About give or take a season. We'll give it 2. Just be. But we'll say that. So she goes back to Earth 2, is able to establish a whole hero unit. Mind you, she's using a gun too. So where's her canary cry? They didn't even feature that. But she starts this whole hero unit. She incorporates a new Green Lantern who's
Arrow.
So a new Arrow who's just as good, if not better than. Actually, he's better than Oliver. And so he found this dude in 2 years who apparently, I gotta say, is trained by Batman. Because he throws that bombshell. Bruce Wayne was like, the water's like an ocean, man. And what kind of far up bullshit is this?
They really jerked off that Batman dick really hard this episode.
But this is where I get to in the leaks and logic, because it's like, okay, Tommy is the Dark Archer, like, who trains him? Where did he train? And how does Moira and what's his name not know that he had been training to be the Dark Archer?
It doesn't matter. They're not going to be in a.
And then I know you say who cares, but if we're reviewing this shit, I'm gonna call it out. The other thing that was really dumb to me, and maybe I missed something at the beginning of the episode when Laurel and them fall through. She straight up says, "What are you doing on my Earth?" She says that. And then towards the end of the episode, the Hood, he's like, "You're from another universe, aren't you?"
Did they reveal who he was?
Yeah, that's Prometheus.
That's Prometheus.
I did not notice that.
But in this time zone, he's the Archer. But another thing I want to point out and call bullshit on is Diggle being the black magical Negro. So
he's so magical, he crossed over to another universe.
Here's the part that I get the whole brotherhood. I get that you and Oliver have this special bond. But you know who you also have a special bond with? Your wife and fucking child.
Exactly.
You're going on a mission where you know the outcome is death for Oliver. He's told you this. The fucking monitor told him this. He knows he's going into this to die. And he's doing this with as brave a face as he can. And you following him like, maybe if I tag along, he won't die. No. Most likely, you'll die too. You're willing to throw away everything. You don't even mention Lila. You don't even mention your fucking children and the fact that you adopted another one.
So he did adopt.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
If you go by the future arc and Diggle Jr. is like, oh yeah, that's my brother.
They'll never explain it because the show is over. They're going to jump into this crisis and Oliver is going to die and then that's it.
So this whole Diggle, ride together, die together thing is fucking horseshit.
Yeah, but like it was just so much stuff that really irked the shit out of me. Like the monitor gets on Oliver because he's like, don't interfere with this universe. Just get the shit that I told you to get and then get out. But like, what do? You drop him on Lian Yu. You put him there on Lian Yu, and you force him to have to relive Arrow episode 1 so that he can get to where he needs to get the Door Star. Like, you're the fucking Monitor. You could have literally put him right where the Door Star is.
No,
or you could have went and got it yourself.
Exactly. Why did he get that shit himself?
Exactly.
Why is he so hands off now?
Like, that was just so weird to me.
Okay, let's get to the other shit dropping this bucket. So, the future arc.
I got this. Fuck this.
He's right.
Nobody likes these characters.
No,
especially Tough Girl or whatever her name is. Like,
tag me in. So, let me speak on this. I know they're trying to get a spinoff. Stop. It ain't working. Because you haven't given us a reason to care about these people.
And I'm just letting you know personally, if this spinoff happens, is it happening?
I don't care.
I already have a bias of I'm trashing it regardless of if I watch it or not.
But here's my thing. So, it's so dumb that we have to actually go into this. So, Mia has no tactical experience. Yes, she knows how to fight. Yes, she wants to do everything her way. She does that all last season and then the first season too, and proceeds to get the team fucked up. So they said, okay, look, let's go in with a plan. You gotta sit here and talk to her. It's like she's a fucking child and won't listen to anything. I want to do things my way. And I was like, your way doesn't work.
I like how she got slapped around in the face and it was their fault.
Yeah, I was getting that.
It was what's his name playing, and it was his fault that she got slapped around in the face.
So let me speed him up right quick. So in the future, this guy gets kidnapped from the Glaze, this high-powered rich dude, and they gotta go save him. And this Diggle's brother, Diggle Jr.'s brother, who did it. So now they gotta go rescue him. They have a plan. They go and they try to execute it. The whole plan linchpin on Mia being able to go in, do her job, and get the guy out. Mia goes in and gets her ass whipped. Her ass beat to pieces. And then the guy, Diggle Jr.'s brother, shows pity on her because she didn't stand a chance and just leaves. She stands up and blames everybody for her ass whooping. So and then says, no, this is why I do things my way. This whole plan allowed you to do something on your own, and you got your ass smacked.
So you need to ask me, how's the spinoff with this gonna work? Because if this is what I'm gonna have to deal with every episode, that's a no for me.
This is 30-year-old people acting like 15-year-old children. This is the part that's pissing me off about this. Like, we're supposed to go on this ride, so I'm supposed to sit here and believe all of them are accomplished martial artists. All of them have these grown-up jobs. And this whole high school etiquette, like, the writing for this is terrible. And I've been saying this before. The CW shows are limping their way towards crisis. They're going to put as much bullshit as they can. Because in all honesty, the future arc doesn't matter. If anything, the future arc is telling us that they won. That's the only thing it's doing.
It's just at this juncture, I said it before, and I'm going to continue to harp on this. I think that the DC shows on the CW need to stop. I think you could probably salvage Black Lightning, and since Batwoman is new, you can salvage that too, put them on the streaming service, up their quality, and then Batwoman can finally be good, and then Black Lightning will be God tier.
So here's my thing about...
Hold on, let me finish. Go ahead.
And maybe we can save Supergirl too, but I don't know, she might be too deep. Flash and Arrow can go. I think if the CW really wants DC Comics content, do you know the comic book shows that are working on CW, shit like Archie and iZombie, and I haven't watched it yet, but they're doing Nancy Drew. DC Comics has characters and premises like that. Just take those and make those for the CW and leave the superhero shit alone.
Here's the issue with this whole show. You're trying to, okay, we all know the original cast is done. We know they want to go and do new things. And now you're trying to start us back from season 1 with characters' kids, and that's not gonna fly. We didn't build the same level of camaraderie that we have, or the same level of like and investment that we have from the original characters with the children. You tried to do this with the new Teen Arrow, and it didn't work. And for some reason, you think their children will carry the torch, when all of them are just nothing but crying children.
And it's hard to be invested in them when they're honestly just unlikable.
Exactly.
Like, to be fair, when Arrow first started, there was something about Oliver and the rest of those characters that made us sit there and watch them season after season. Now, the shit degraded as the years went on, but you know, there had to be something there for us to want to have kept watching it. I don't see it with these characters.
No, we see William, who does nothing but complain all the time. We see Mia, who wants her way and complains all the time. We see Diggle Jr., who's supposed to be the grown-up in the room, but does nothing but bitch and moan about his family. and we see Zoe try to live in the shadow of her snitching ass. So I'm pretty much... So we're pretty much just, like I said, trying to get through this season.
And it's gonna be worse to try to be invested in these people, because we're not even gonna see them in the past. They've all but said fuck present day what's going on in Arrow, because it's all about the universe trotting adventures of Oliver, Diggle, and Trash Can.
but here's my thing, and before we sign off, I gotta just throw this one consistency out there. These children have been growing around each other, with the exception of Mia, most of their lives, right? They've known about each other. You telling me that none of them knew about the Diggle's brother, even though he's been around? So this show has its downs and downs, but you know we're just trying to fight.
Not a up in there, huh?
We're just trying to fight our way through it. But come on, let's be honest with you. If you've been following this series since the first season, you know it's been nothing but trash can fodder since then. But you know, like and subscribe, you guys. We have plenty more content coming, and we're gonna be reviewing other shows too, like Supergirls, Titans, and other stuff along the way. There's a Patreon that we're about to set up in case you guys want to review other shows on a streaming service, because them stuff ain't cheap. So like and subscribe, but until next time,